We're talking about the sweetness of God, and this Devo today is gracious words. Proverbs 16:24 says, gracious words are a honeycomb, there's that word again, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. This time, sweetness is described as words that are sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. We've already discussed how his words sweeter than the honeycomb, but so are the words that we speak. In fact, this entire chapter is about words that we speak. The very first verse says, from the Lord comes the proper answer of the tongue. I don't know about you, but my tongue gets me into trouble more than anything else. When I'm tired, my tongue sends out snappy words. Or if I'm frustrated, I can speak demeaning words. And words that are not proper end up hurting those that listen to my words. We all know that hurtful words can hurt people, sometimes for a lifetime, especially when spoken to children. So let's see what kinds of words are sweet to the soul and healing to the bones, and they obviously have to come from the sweetness of his word that already resides in our hearts. Maybe that's the issue. Verse 2 speaks about motives, and then we're told to commit our ways to him. So even though we might think in our mind that we have a right to say what we think, motives have to be checked and our ways have to be committed to him. Verse 13 says, honest lips speak what is right, and the kings delight in this kind of talk. Speaking what is right is preceded by checking our motives and committing our ways. Verse 18 reminds us that pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. Have we ever thought of that in regards to the words we speak? Pride that precipitates a cutting remark or a haughty spirit that backs a quick retort ends in fallen relationships. Verse 21 says gracious words promote instruction. Not pointing a finger or harsh words or loud words, but gracious ones, words full of grace, quiet, and humble. Verse 23 says, hearts of the wise make their mouths prudent, which means full of good and careful judgment. Again, all characteristics of sweetness to the soul and healing to the bones. And the last half talks about the opposite of sweet words coming from the Father that are not coming from the Father, and those are scorching fire. They stir up conflict, they're gossiping, they lead others down wrong paths, and they plot perversity and all sorts of evil. In verse 32, maybe it's the summation of the definition of sweet words. Better is a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one that takes a city. Let me read that again. Better is a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one that takes a city. Therein lies the secret to sweet words off of our lips, patience and self-control, neither of which we possess unless we commit our ways to him. Think about the times when words have flown from your lips that you regret later. Either anger has risen up, impatience has occurred, or we've been tired and unable to control our emotions and we let it fly. I've done it and wept tears of sorrow later. But then think about the times when you sat in his presence, heard his sweet words of mercy, goodness, and grace spoken over your wandering, wearisome soul. And then you commit your ways to him and you experience the sweetness of God as he speaks your name. And then you are able to speak gracious words that are healing to the soul and sweet to the bones. I think I have that backwards. Sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. If you don't have patience or self-control, it's a serious thing to go even one day without hearing his sweet words before we speak a word when the sun rises and we start our day with those around us. Otherwise, there's this avalanche effect that happens when we let one rock loose headed toward another until we've injured and hurt everyone with that rock that stumbled on its way down. Gracious words, they're sweet to the soul and healing to the bones, and we can have them when we commit our ways to him.